In the quiet desert town of Taos, New Mexico, a strange mystery has puzzled residents for decades. Some people claim they hear a constant humming sound that no one else seems able to detect. The sound is not loud or dramatic. Instead, it is described as a low, deep vibration. Many residents compare it to the distant rumble of a diesel engine running somewhere far away. For the people who hear it, the hum can be extremely disturbing. It often appears late at night, when the town becomes quiet and the surrounding desert falls silent. Those affected say the sound seems to come from everywhere at once. It does not appear to originate from a single direction or location. Some residents describe the sensation as more than just a sound. They say it feels like a vibration moving through walls, floors, and even through their own bodies. Interestingly, the majority of people living in Taos claim they hear absolutely nothing unusual. Entire families may live in the same house, while only one person reports hearing the mysterious hum. This strange detail quickly caught the attention of scientists. If the hum was a real sound, why could only a small number of people hear it? Reports of the phenomenon began appearing more frequently during the late 1980s and early 1990s. As more residents spoke about their experiences, curiosity about the mystery began to grow. Local newspapers started publishing stories about the unusual sound. Soon the phenomenon gained a name that would later become famous, the Taos Hum. People who heard the hum described remarkably similar experiences. Most said the sound resembled a low-frequency engine noise that seemed to run continuously in the background. Some witnesses explained that the hum could last for hours. Others claimed they could hear it almost every night. A few residents even reported physical symptoms connected to the sound. These included headaches, dizziness, sleep problems, and a constant feeling of pressure. Because the hum often appeared during quiet nighttime hours, many people initially suspected nearby machinery or distant traffic. However, when residents attempted to locate the source, they discovered something strange. The sound seemed impossible to track. Walking through the town did not make the sound louder or quieter. It remained almost exactly the same everywhere. This unusual detail suggested the source might not be located within the town itself. Some residents began wondering whether the sound might be coming from deep underground. Others suspected distant industrial activity far outside the town limits. But none of these theories fully explained the phenomenon. As the reports increased, local authorities eventually decided to take the situation seriously. Residents who were disturbed by the hum began requesting a formal investigation. They wanted scientists to determine whether the sound was real or simply the result of imagination. In response, research teams began arriving in Taos with specialized equipment designed to detect low-frequency sound waves. Their goal was simple: record the mysterious hum and identify where it was coming from. But as the investigation began, researchers quickly realized that the Taos hum was far more complicated than anyone expected. The first group of scientists set up sensitive microphones and vibration sensors across the valley. They monitored the environment for several weeks. To their surprise, the high-tech equipment failed to record any unusual acoustic activity. The microphones picked up wind, birds, and distant traffic, but not the hum. This created a major scientific paradox. Hundreds of people were reporting a sound that machines could not detect. Scientists began to wonder if the hum was an objective physical sound or a subjective psychological experience. They conducted hearing tests on the residents who claimed to hear the hum. Surprisingly, most of these people had perfectly normal hearing. The researchers then looked into a medical condition called tinnitus, which causes a ringing or buzzing in the ears. However, the hearers insisted that their experience was different. They described the hum as an external noise, not something happening inside their ears. As news of the investigation spread, reports of similar humming sounds began to emerge from other parts of the world. A famous case occurred in Bristol, England, where thousands of people reported a nearly identical low-frequency hum. In Kokomo, Indiana, another group of residents complained about a persistent vibration that caused health problems. These global reports suggested that the Taos hum might be part of a much larger worldwide phenomenon. The lack of scientific evidence led to a wave of creative and sometimes frightening theories. One popular theory suggested that the hum was caused by secret military projects hidden beneath the New Mexico desert. The region is home to several high-security government facilities and research laboratories. Some people believed the military was testing a new form of long-range communication using extremely low-frequency waves, or ELF. ELF waves are used to communicate with submarines deep underwater because they can travel through the earth and the ocean. Theorists argued that these powerful waves might be interacting with the unique geology of Taos, creating an audible vibration. Another theory focused on the Earth itself. Geologists studied the tectonic activity and volcanic history of the region. They explored the possibility that shifting rocks or gas moving through underground caverns could create a low-frequency rumble. However, the geological data did not show enough activity to account for a constant, rhythmic humming sound. As the years passed without an answer, the psychological toll on the residents of Taos continued to grow. For some, the hum was a minor annoyance. For others, it was a form of psychological torture that prevented them from ever finding peace. One resident described it as a slow-motion earthquake that never ended. People tried everything to block out the noise. They bought expensive soundproofing for their bedrooms and played white noise machines at night. But the hum seemed to bypass these barriers, vibrating through the very structure of their homes. In 1997, a new study was launched to examine the possibility of electromagnetic sensitivity. Some researchers believe that certain individuals might be sensitive to the invisible energy surrounding power lines and cell towers. They proposed that the human brain might be interpreting electromagnetic radiation as a sound. If this were true, it would explain why machines could not record the hum, as the sound was being created inside the person's mind. Yet this theory also faced criticism. The Taos hum was reported long before the widespread use of cell phones and modern wireless technology. The mystery remained unsolved, and the town of Taos became a destination for researchers and curious tourists from around the globe. Documentary crews and news stations frequently visited the area, hoping to capture a breakthrough. Local folklore also began to play a role in the story. Some residents believed the sound had a spiritual or supernatural origin. The Taos Pueblo people, who have lived in the area for over 1,000 years, have their own ancient stories about the sounds of the earth. To some, the hum was a warning. To others, it was simply the natural pulse of a living planet. By the early 2000s, the Taos hum had become one of the most famous unsolved mysteries in modern history. Scientific interest eventually began to fade as new investigations failed to provide concrete evidence. But for the hearers, the mystery never went away. The sound continued to haunt their nights and complicate their lives. In recent years, modern digital recording technology has been used to try and solve the puzzle once again. Some amateur researchers claim they have finally captured the hum using specialized software that analyzes deep-frequency data. However, these recordings are often debated by professionals who argue the sounds are just natural environmental noise. The Taos hum remains a perfect example of how much we still do not understand about the world around us. Is it a secret weapon, a geological anomaly, or a glitch in human perception? Perhaps the answer lies in a combination of all these factors. As you walk through the streets of Taos today, the town seems peaceful and still. The sun sets over the beautiful mountains, and the desert air becomes cool and quiet. But for a small percentage of the population, the silence is never truly complete. They wait for the night to fall, knowing that the low rhythmic vibration will soon return. It is a sound that defines their reality, a mystery that has no ending, and a secret that the desert refuses to give up. The Taos hum continues to echo through the halls of the unknown archive, a reminder that some enigmas are meant to be heard, but never explained.